Did you know that after 60, just 3 simple daily movements can help you stay strong and move comfortably without pain? Your body quietly gives warning signals when certain muscles begin to weaken, signals that your independence could be slipping away. You may notice stiffness when getting out of bed, difficulty lifting groceries, trouble reaching while dressing, or feeling unsteady on uneven surfaces. These aren't just signs of normal aging. They're early indicators that your strength, balance, and confidence are declining. Here's the good news. You can reverse this with just 3 exercises in under 10 minutes a day, right in your living room. These movements support your joints, improve balance, and help restore smooth, pain-free motion. No gym, no equipment, and suitable for all fitness levels. Research shows adults over 60 lose roughly 3% of muscle mass each year, impacting mobility and self-confidence. As muscles weaken, stress increases on the knees, backs, and shoulders, making everyday tasks more difficult and risky. In this video, I'll guide you through beginner-friendly and more advanced options so you can follow along safely. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss simple tips to move better and live stronger. Did you know that after the age of 60, the body does not suddenly lose its ability to be strong, but rather begins to negotiate more quietly with how it is used? This is something science has taught us slowly, and something lived experience confirms if we pay close attention. The body is not dramatic in its warnings. It does not announce decline with a single loud symptom. Instead, it leaves small notes along the way. A stiffness that lingers a little longer in the morning. A hesitation before lifting something that once felt light. A subtle sense of imbalance on uneven ground. These moments are easy to dismiss because they arrive softly and they feel familiar. So we tell ourselves this is simply what aging looks like. Yet beneath these sensations, there is a deeper story unfolding, one rooted in biology, adaptation, us, and the remarkable responsiveness of human tissue. Muscle, bone, nerves, and joints exist in constant conversation with one another. They are not separate systems working independently, but a coordinated network that adjusts itself based on demand. When we move regularly, especially through meaningful, functional patterns, this network remains active and responsive. When movement becomes less frequent or less varied, the body adapts to that reality as well. After 60, this adaptation can accelerate, not because the body has lost its intelligence, but because the signals it receives have changed. Less movement tells the body that less strength is required. Less challenge tells the nervous system that precision and speed are no longer priorities. Over time, these messages reshape how we move and how we feel about moving. What is particularly important to understand is that many of the changes people associate with aging are not caused by time alone. They are influenced by reduced stimulus. Research has shown that adults over 60 lose muscle mass at a measurable rate each year, but this loss is not inevitable in its impact. Muscle tissue remains responsive to load and use well into later life. The nervous system remains capable of refining coordination and balance. The heart and blood vessels remain capable of adapting to gentle, regular cardiovascular demand. The body does not close its doors at 60. It simply waits to see whether it is still being invited to participate. The signs that independence may be slipping often appear in everyday moments. Getting out of bed feels more rigid than it used to. Carrying groceries requires more effort or planning. Reaching overhead feels awkward or slightly uncomfortable. Walking on uneven ground brings a sense of caution that was not there before. These are not just inconveniences. They are reflections of how the body is distributing effort. When certain muscles weaken, others take on more responsibility. Joints absorb forces they were not designed to handle alone. Balance systems become less confident because they receive less varied input. The result is a gradual narrowing of movement choices, and with that narrowing comes a quiet erosion of confidence. Yet this process is not one-directional. Biology rarely is. The same adaptability that allows the body to reduce capacity when demand is low allows it to rebuild capacity when demand returns. This is where the idea of simple daily movements becomes so powerful, not because they are dramatic or intense, but because they speak the language the body understands best: regular, specific use. When movements are simple, accessible, and repeatable, they become signals the body can respond to without fear or resistance. Consider the act of standing up from a chair. It is one of the most common movements we perform, and one of the most revealing. Standing up requires coordination between the legs, hips, core, and spine. It requires balance, timing, and strength working together. When these systems are strong and well coordinated, the movement feels effortless. When they are not, the body compensates. Momentum replaces strength. The torso leans forward excessively. The knees experience more strain. The lower back works harder than it should. The movement still happens, but it becomes less efficient and more stressful. From a scientific perspective, practicing this movement with intention does more than strengthen muscles. It retrains the nervous system to coordinate effort smoothly. It improves proprioception, the sense of where the body is in space. It restores confidence by providing repeated evidence that the body can perform a necessary task safely. Studies observing older adults who practice controlled standing movements show improvements not only in leg strength, but in perceived stability and daily confidence. As this is not surprising, confidence is not an abstract trait. It is built through repeated, successful interactions between intention and action. The details of how this movement is performed matter, but not in a technical sense that overwhelms. Sitting near the edge of a chair, placing the feet in a position that allows the legs to do their work, leaning forward just enough to bring the center of mass over the feet. These adjustments align the body with gravity rather than fighting it. Breathing becomes part of the movement, not an afterthought. Inhaling prepares the body. Exhaling during effort engages deep stabilizing muscles and reduces unnecessary tension. Lowering back down slowly reinforces control and strength, reminding the muscles that they are responsible not just for lifting, but for managing descent. When people struggle with this movement, small modifications allow the conversation to continue rather than end. Raising the seat height reduces demand while preserving the pattern. Using the hands lightly provides assistance without surrendering responsibility. Over time, as strength returns, these supports can be reduced. The body responds to progression, but only when progression is patient and respectful. Upper body strength tells a similar story. Many daily tasks require pushing, reaching, or stabilizing through the arms and shoulders. As these movements become less frequent, the muscles and connective tissues adapt by becoming less robust. Posture shifts forward, not because of poor habits alone, but because the muscles that once held the shoulders and spine upright are no longer being asked to do so. This forward posture alters the mechanics of the shoulders and neck, often leading to discomfort and reduced range of motion. Gentle pushing movements against a stable surface reintroduce load in a controlled way. From a biological standpoint, these movements stimulate muscle fibers, activate stabilizing muscles around the shoulder joints, and engage the core reflexively. The body works as a unit. The arms press, the shoulders stabilize, the core supports, and the legs maintain balance. This integration is crucial because daily life does not isolate muscles. It requires coordinated effort. Wall-based pushing movements are particularly effective because they allow precise control over difficulty. Standing closer reduces load. Standing farther increases it. The body learns to maintain alignment, keeping the spine neutral and the hips engaged. Breathing remains steady, supporting both physical effort and nervous system regulation. Over time, this practice improves posture, reduces shoulder strain, and enhances the ability to perform tasks like reaching, carrying, and bracing against resistance. Balance, often feared as something fragile in later life, is deeply trainable. It is not a single ability, but a synthesis of sensory input and motor response. Vision, inner ear function, joint position sense, and muscle strength all contribute. When movement patterns become limited, the brain receives less varied information. It becomes cautious, sometimes overly so. Simple rhythmic movements that shift weight and require coordination can rebuild this confidence. Marching in place with arm swings exemplifies this beautifully. On the surface, it looks uncomplicated. Beneath that simplicity lies a rich exchange of information. Each lifted knee challenges balance on one leg. Each arm swing counterbalances the body, training coordination between opposite sides. The heart rate rises gently, improving circulation. Blood flow increases to muscles and to the brain. This supports not only physical endurance, but cognitive clarity as well. The cardiovascular system responds quickly to regular, moderate demand. Blood vessels become more flexible. The heart becomes more efficient. Oxygen delivery improves. These changes support energy levels and recovery. At the same time, the rhythmic nature of marching supports nervous system regulation. Many people find that steady movement paired with natural breathing has a calming effect, reducing anxiety and improving mood. This is not incidental. Movement and emotion are deeply linked through shared neural pathways. What is often overlooked is how these physical changes influence a person's relationship with the world. When balance improves, people walk with less fear. When strength returns, they engage more fully in daily tasks. When movement feels reliable, social participation increases. People are more likely to leave the house, to visit friends, to take part in activities they may have quietly avoided. Health, in this sense, is not just the absence of pain. It is the presence of possibility. Consistency plays a central role in all of this. The body adapts to what it experiences most often. Short, regular sessions of movement create a steady stream of signals that reinforce strength, coordination, and confidence. This is particularly important for connective tissues, which respond best to gradual, repeated loading. Sudden bursts of intense effort can provoke discomfort or injury, reinforcing fear and avoidance. Gentle consistency, on the other hand, builds trust. Breathing deserves attention because it bridges physiology and perception. Coordinated breathing supports core stability, regulates blood pressure responses, and influences how effort is experienced. Exhaling during exertion reduces strain and helps the body move efficiently. Holding the breath, especially during unfamiliar effort, can make movement feel harder and less controlled. Teaching the body to breathe through movement restores a sense of ease that many people did not realize they had lost. There is also a deeper, more reflective dimension to this process. Caring for the body through simple movement is an act of acknowledgement. It recognizes that the body has adapted continuously throughout life, responding to work, stress, rest, and joy. It shifts the narrative from fighting aging to cooperating with biology. Aging does not require surrender. It requires dialogue. The idea that it is never too late to improve strength and movement is supported by research and by lived experience. Muscle tissue responds to use at any age. Neural plasticity persists far longer than once believed. Balance improves with practice because the brain learns to trust sensory input again. These changes may not restore the body to its younger state, but they enhance its current capacity. That enhancement matters. It affects how people move, how they feel, and how they see themselves. What makes these simple movements particularly meaningful is their relevance to daily life. Standing up, pushing, and stepping are not abstract exercises. They are foundational actions that support independence. By practicing them intentionally, the body is rehearsing life itself. Each repetition is a reminder of capability. Each session reinforces the idea that movement is still available, still safe, still beneficial. Over time, the accumulation of these experiences reshapes perception. Movements that once felt risky begin to feel manageable. Tasks that required caution begin to feel routine again. Confidence returns not because someone decides to be confident, but because the body provides evidence that confidence is justified. This is how biology and psychology meet. The mind believes what the body demonstrates. The simplicity of these movements is not a limitation. It is their strength. Its complexity is not required for adaptation. Clarity is. When movements are clear, repeatable, and aligned with natural patterns, the body responds without confusion. This response is steady rather than dramatic, but it is meaningful. It restores a sense of agency that can be lost when health feels out of one's control. These three simple exercises work together to support pain-free movement and lasting independence. The sit to stand strengthens your lower body. Wall push-ups build upper body stability, and marching improves balance and cardiovascular health. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Start where you are, use modifications as needed, and aim for 3 to 4 sessions per week. In just a few weeks, you'll notice daily movements feel easier and more confident. So it's never too late to take care of your body. Start today.